Hey, welcome back, everybody, to the Mic Drop Show. This is the place where we talk real estate, real freedom, and real results. Hey, I'm your host, Mike Morawski, the multifamily bounce back coach, investor, educator, and favorite partner in cash flow when it comes to scaling wealth through real estate. And today we're diving into a topic that's often overlooked, but could literally put tens of thousands of dollars back in your pocket. And what's really interesting is this tax bill, the big, beautiful bill that got passed here over the last week. My guest this morning, Kevin Cawley, is going to help break that down. He's the national account representative at the Cost Segregation Services, LLC, which is typically called CSSI. And if you know the game, Kevin knows the game. And he's really going to help us look at that today. Hey, Kevin's not just running numbers, he's helping investors unlock real, tangible cash flow by using one of the IRS's best kept secrets, cost segregation. But before joining CSSI, Kevin spent over a decade in the construction management business, advising builders on how to safely and effectively develop commercial properties. He knows what makes buildings tick from the inside out and gives them a unique edge when it comes to accelerating depreciation and boosting investor ROI. Hey, in this episode, we're going to break down what cost segregation is, who qualifies, how to use it, what timeframes you can use it in, and what the red flags are. So if you've ever thought, how can I keep more of my earned money from real estate? This episode's for you. You're in the right place. Hey, before we dive in or bring Kevin in, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor Sync VA. That's SYNCVA, your go-to virtual assistant platform. Hey, if you need a virtual assistant for your business, and we all do, I always say that if you don't have an assistant helping you with your day-to-day activity, you are an assistant. And by having somebody who's there, supports you, supports your business, Sync VA is your go-to source to help you do that. So let's bring Kevin in this morning and get started. Hey, buddy, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing really good. Your music, your theme music is it's rocking. It's good. It was good stuff. I was bopping my head there.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? It's not Black Sabbath with
Yeah.
It's kind of sad Ozzy Osbourne died this week, but
Yeah,
it does the job, right? I appreciate that. So
yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
So
Hey,
so your sponsor was go ahead.
No, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Your sponsor, Sync VA. I really liked how you said, if you don't have an assistant, you're an assistant.
Right. Absolutely, 100%. I heard that years ago. I used to follow a national trainer in the residential real estate business, and I followed him for years. And that was one of the things he would always say is, if you don't have an assistant, you are an assistant. And hey, Sync VA is a great partner in what we do, a great sponsor in all of our efforts. And so if you're somebody who needs someone to help you with those day-to-day activities, or if you're in real estate and you need somebody to help you do your closings and acquisitions and things like that, a VA really helps you get that stuff done. But hey, let's talk about you and CSSI. You're on vacation, huh?
You know what? Yeah. So sorry, there's a slight lag. So sorry to all the guests, but yeah. Neighbor and clients in Harbor, Michigan. So the kids are loving it. I know I had this call. I thought the connection would be a little better, but I think it'll hold up here, and we'll get some good value out of this call today.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, I kind of went through your bio and talked about you a little bit. I know that your background's been in construction, as mine was, and now you're helping not just contractors and builders, but you're helping a vast array of real estate investors, whether they're single family, commercial, multifamily investors, save more money on their taxes. And so let's jump right in. One of the first questions is, what is cost segregation?
Sure. Sure. So cost segregation is an advanced way to depreciate your property. I always the work is highly technical. So anywhere from 2 to 6 weeks, depending how complex it is. Just to give a time frame of what we're doing, and all it is the federal government says commercial buildings depreciate over 39 years, residential properties over 27 and a half. Why they pick these numbers, tell us. So we don't know.
That's the IRS for you.
That's the federal government for you, right? Why'd you pick the So anyway, you write off the purchase price over 39 years if commercial or 27 and a half if residential. So let's say you bought $1 million multifamily property. All your accountant's going to do and all the federal government wants him to do is take your $1 million purchase price, they'll minus whatever land is. So land does not depreciate. Important for all the listeners to understand. So land doesn't depreciate. So we take it out of our basis equation. So let's say multifamily property for 1.2 million. All your accountant's going to do, all the IRS 27 and a half, whatever the asset is. Okay. So $1 million multifamily property divided by 27 and a half. Let's call it from year 1 to year 39. You get to reduce your active income by $36,000. That is straight line depreciation. It automatically happens when someone acquires, not cost segregation, but you just bought a building today. Your accountant and the federal government wants them to start working. So what is cost seg? With pieces and components that make this property what it is, not all of which are going to last 27 and a half years. So the federal government part on paper and segregate all the parts and pieces that won't last 27 and a half years and put them on their correct depreciable schedules. So from a concept level, that's what we're doing. We're taking your building apart on paper, segregating all the parts and pieces that won't last the life of the building. And typically when we do a study, we'll put back in the owner's pocket 5 to 10% of their purchase price. So in this example, $1 million multifamily property, we'd reduce the client's income tax liability by 50 to 100K on average.
Interesting. So listen, we've had a couple of questions from some of our listeners, and I want listeners to know if you have questions, if you have comments, you can put them in the DM this morning, or you can send me a message and we'll get them talked about on one of the next episodes coming up. But Kevin, somebody asked a question. Hey, I just bought a duplex here in 2025, and can I cost segregate that? Or does it have to be a large property? Or can I just do it with a 2-flat or a 4-flat?
Really good question. And to be honest, with most firms, it would be most firms want $1 million basis. The good news is my firm does not. So we're a national firm. We got a lot. $50,000. So yeah, by all means, here's for you. And Mike, I'm sure you share it on my website.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Duplex. Can I add on one thing real quick, Mike?
Yeah,
Your guy who
absolutely.
asked the duplex question. So look, if you live in one of the units, let's say you live on the top floor, we could do the cost seg, but the benefit's going to be cut in half because half of the cost seg on a primary residence, right? But the listener who asked the question, seg on the whole building, whatever the benefit bucks, it's going to be cut in half because you can't do it on your primary.
Yeah, that's good to know. That's a really good piece of advice to know. Another question, kind of in this realm of smaller properties, is it worth doing a cost seg on a property under $1 million?
I'd say yeah, absolutely. So again, our firm we do a lot of volume, so we're able to I always compare not in a quality way, but to McDonald's. Why does McDonald's, they could sell a cheeseburger for $1? Well, it's because they sell a
Yeah.
billion of them. So if we looked at a property with a basis of 150K, maybe we'd save the owner 30 to say the least to want to do. So what I say too, Mike, just to add to it, when in doubt, let me run numbers. So, hey, is it worth it to do it on this asset? I've owned it 10 years. I paid 300 for it. Run the numbers. There's no costs. And if there's some meat on the bone and me and your tax advisor think it's a good idea, great. If there's not, now you know.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely. Hey, let me ask you this. If I do a cost segregation study on one property or multiple properties as an investor, do I increase my risk of audits by the IRS?
No. So, I don't know how many of these get 1,000 plus a year here at CSSI, but this is so common now, it came into law in 97. So I imagine from 97, let's say a decade forward, 2007, these were not very well known things. And I imagine a lot of audits happened back then, but now with technology and things, to put it in perspective, my firm's done 55,000 of these, and we had to represent clients 12 audits, 12
Yeah.
times. So, and each of those times, the study didn't trigger the audit. It didn't trigger the audit. Just the client was audited for another reason. They're going to want to see the studies. But I'd say no. I've been here 10 years. I've done portfolios, 94 buildings at a time, 120 at a time. These clients are still rocking and rolling, and no audit yet. So,
Yeah.
no.
And one of the things I know about your firm, Kevin, is that
Sure.
you guys stand behind your work. So if an audit did come up, you
Yes.
guys would be there to defend it, to defend your work. And I always tell people, I say, hey, you have to defend the decisions or the process with the data. And you guys do that. You guys back your cost seg studies and create that protection in case an audit does happen.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. The name of the game with the IRS is substantiation. So it's a heavily detailed report where they go, "Where'd you get this number?" And it's kind of how the government votes on bills. We'll hand them this huge thing and say, "Here you go."
Yeah,
Right.
interesting. That's cool. Hey, there was another question somebody asked. They said that they do the Burr method. So you know what that is, right? That's where you buy a property, rehab it, rent it, refinance it, pull capital out. Should somebody do the cost segregation study when they first purchase the property or at the refinance piece?
So I tell guys this. Anyone I speak with, I always ask, "What's your plan for this asset?" Right. So I tell guys, if you're not planning on hold after I do the cost seg study, it's probably not worth it for you, because what I'm going to do is, right. So I'm back to my first example. You buy $1 million multifamily property. I free up 100K for you. Well, when you recapture, okay, 5 years. The whole point of cost seg, the tax savings is a byproduct. It was tax law to generate more investment, right? So the whole point is, Mike, you don't have to pay the IRS 100K due to cost seg. Take the 100K, purchase more property, pay down debt, put towards principal, buy on. That was the point of cost seg. So when you sell, there's always recapture. There's depreciation, recreating that depreciation. We're making it much bigger. So the whole point is to do cost seg, time value of money, right? Don't pay the government with today's dollars, but take it and reinvest it. Maybe put in a vehicle where you're making 8 to 10%, because when you do sell the property, they're going to want that money back, but you made 8 to 10% of it out of thin air for 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another way, Mike. There's another rep at my firm, Dave here. I really like how he explains it. Right. So you do a cost seg with me. We got 100K. You don't have to pay him. They go, Mike, you'd get the money anyway if you held the building this long. So go ahead, take the money, do what you want with it. But when you sell it, we want it back.
Yeah.
Right. So it's
Awesome.
interest-free loans.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Well, here's what I know, right, is that you're going to be speaking at our annual multifamily summit this year. And this is our 6th year. It's our
Yes.
virtual 2-day event. And you're going to have a whole segment on cost segregation and breaking this down. Why should people come and listen to this whole presentation of yours at the summit, Kevin?
Sure. Number one, we'll go through the basics briefly, kind of like we did today. President Trump passed the One Big Beautiful bill. So what that did is brought back 100% bonus depreciation. We could touch on that in a sec. But that came out. And then, of course, showing the audience examples. Let's say I have a smaller property, a 200K property, $1 million property, a $5 million property. Once you actually see what we're doing for clients, the numbers are kind of mind-boggling. And
Sure.
Yeah. No matter who's in office, I just help guys pay less to the government, no matter who's in there.
Well, I've always said, I've made money in down markets, up markets. When Democrats or Republicans are in office, it doesn't matter. You can make money in real estate. And there's tools like cost segregation that you can use, and companies like yours, Kevin, CSSI, that will help you accelerate that. Hey, how do people get a hold of you if they want to talk with you offline?
Yeah, so I don't mind throwing my number out there. I always give my cell, and then I'll give you my personal website. So my personal website's costsegkev.com. I know I wrote underscores here, but it's just COSTSEGKEV.com. See a lot of info about myself. There's a couple tabs where it says, hey, do you want a free quote? Click here. If you fill that out, just so your listeners know, that goes direct to me. It doesn't go to Bob. So I'll have some eyes on it right away. And then my cell phone, 773. That's pasted all over my website as well. And then I am on Instagram and LinkedIn at CostSegKev, how it's written here with the underscores is my Instagram. And you see me on LinkedIn as well. And we do some cool interviews like this as well, Mike.
Yeah. Say that phone number one more time, Kevin. 773.
Sure. 931-6498.
773. Perfect. Kevin, thank you for being here this morning. Thanks for taking time from your family vacation. I'm going to move you to the back room for a minute. If you'd hang there, I'm going to say goodbye to everybody, and we'll be back in a minute.
You got it. Thanks, guys.
All right, stand by. Hey, buddy, that was a great show this morning. That was Kevin Cawley with CSSI, the Cost Seg Ninja. And look, if you're looking to unlock cash flow and make more profit by using depreciation, using the new tax benefits or tax laws that just happened, then this is a year to be getting in real estate and to take advantage of that. And the best part is you can hear more from Kevin on October 16th and 17th at the 6th annual multifamily summit. That's happening live on Zoom, that 2-day event. We're going to have 20 speakers and panelists. Kevin's going to talk about the cost segregation process, the study, how to get started, how to use it, how it's going to benefit you. He's going to go more into depth. So don't miss it. This year, the summit isn't just another webinar, but it's your industry's elite come and share. Your industry's elite coming to share, give you the gift of what's working and what's not working. And with where we're at in the market cycle, this is an event you're not going to want to miss this year. Hey, if this episode has been useful for you, if you've gotten some golden nuggets and some tips, then hit the follow button, subscribe, tell a friend about us, and be back here next Wednesday. Don't forget, we're here every Wednesday. If you have comments, questions, throw them in the chat. Send me a message. We'll get your question answered on the next show. Thanks, everybody.